So last Sunday, I was talking about the evidence for God and the fact that my faith in God is based on evidence. And it's not, as some would say about Christians, that our evidence is devoid of facts, but I would say our evidence is based on facts and that there is evidence to what we believe in. And I would say that's true about everybody. Everybody lives a life that is based on what they believe to be true or factual. And so let me share there's a lot more evidence than what I'm sharing now, but let me just share some of the things that I believe are true and give evidence and a basis for my faith. I shared on Sunday evidence for Jesus' resurrection. There's really 4 categories. This is the first category, evidence for Jesus' resurrection. And this is important, and I think this is legitimate and gives me a lot of encouragement. I had shared on Sunday that there were 4 aspects to this. For Easter, we talked about the evidence for the empty tomb, and there's a lot of evidence that Christ's tomb is empty. Number 2, evidence for the appearances of Jesus Christ to not just a few people, and not just to his closest friends and family, but to hundreds of people. And there were ways that could have been shown to be true or false at that time. That could have been easily disproven, but all those people claimed that they met and talked with and experienced an encounter with the living Jesus Christ. The martyrdom of Jesus's followers is clear evidence that Jesus rose from the dead. Many of Jesus's followers were willing to die. And this wasn't something they had been taught. They hadn't been taught about Jesus. They actually claimed to have met Jesus. So they would have known whether he rose from the dead or not. And they died for what they believed in. The 4th aspect of the evidence for the resurrection is the growth of the early church, in spite of persecution, not just by the Roman government and Roman emperors in those first couple centuries, but even the Jewish leaders came to a point very quickly after Jesus resurrected and ascended into heaven, and the early church was conceived. Jewish leaders were also persecuting the church as well, so they were getting it from both sides, and many of them were ostracized by their families for following Jesus Christ. So that all falls under that category of evidence for the resurrection, which I believe is very convincing to me. I also shared on Sunday about the personal impact that faith in Jesus has had in my life, that it's had a profound change in my life. It's given me significant peace and purpose, and that's after going through many difficult times in my life. And in the midst of those difficult times, I felt his peace and purpose, as well as a second part to this aspect of personal impact is just all the other people that have had miracles happen in their life and would tell you that God has made a huge difference or has delivered them from disease or addiction or done some sort of great work in their life, and again has given them purpose. It has given them a sense of personal peace. And you might think, well, that's not really evidence, that's subjective. But I would say that if there wasn't that subjective evidence, those personal experiences that I and many people have had and experience, and even relating miracles, you would question whether it was true if I couldn't give you any accounts of changed lives at all. So I'm telling you, there are. We see many. And so that if you add that to all the other evidence, I find that to be significant. So there's 2 categories of evidence. A couple more categories I'll share with you. First of all, I'm going to call this category all the causes and effects. These are the things that are I believe, best explained by God. Science tries to come up with their answers to these, and in some cases gives us indications as to how God did it, the details of God's work, his engineering, so to speak. But as far as like the actual initial cause, and we know we live in a cause and effect universe, that we just can't get around that. And so everything that we see to be true had some sort of effect, we know. Everything, whether it's life or physical universe, matter, energy, intelligence, all these things. So let me just say, first of all, the first part of this aspect is just that I'm here. The fact that I'm here, I think, is best explained as I look at all the evidence that I can and listen to various origin of life experts, the best conclusion I can come to is it's God. Second is a common design in nature. I see a lot of similarities in the design patterns in different aspects of nature, and to me that indicates a common designer, a God who has designed in similar ways, has found patterns and has found ways to create things, and not only because it's practical, because I don't think God really needs to be practical. He's got unlimited resources, but I think it gives us a better ability to understand as we study and even come up with scientific answers to how we can develop medicine and other technologies based on the designs of the universe that we study. Even computers have a very similar way of functioning to the design of the universe and of course of mathematics that God has put into our universe. A rational universe, the fact that our universe is rational, I think can only be explained by the fact that there was a God who created it, made it rational and understandable. Einstein was baffled by that fact, was just amazed that our universe was so rational. Our universe is fine-tuned. We find numerous examples of the fine-tuning of our universe. The origins of life and information is another one. And then we also have the anthropic principle. So that's something that all people will agree on. And looking at how things are designed in our universe, they see this amazing preparation, so to speak, of everything as if it was prepared for mankind. And then, of course, sacrificial love and forgiveness. I would mention that too, that the Bible talks about sacrificial love and forgiveness. These are two aspects that would be hard to explain in a random universe that didn't have a God who created it and originated that. And I believe that this is the core of our Christian faith, that we are taught by the Bible, first of all in the Old Testament and then by Christ and his example, that we're to love and we're to forgive others. And that's a remarkable concept that does not seem very evolutionary. It certainly isn't something you're going to find in other religions, especially the forgiveness part of that, kind of the grace of God and the forgiveness of God as the answer of redemption. You're not going to find that in other religions. That's very unique to what we learn from Jesus Christ and from the Bible. The last category that I want to mention is the reliability of the Bible. The Bible has been shown to be very reliable. You may not trust it, you may not see it, but it's hard to deny that it is a trustworthy historical book in its unity and accuracy, its ability to predict the future in prophecies, how it describes a beginning to the universe. I don't know any other religious book, I don't know any book at all that predicted a beginning to the universe. For so long, it was kind of common belief that our universe didn't have a beginning. Either it was reincarnated or it was just eternal. And I know our understanding from the Bible is God spoke it into existence. And so I can't think of a better explanation for that than what we've discovered, or what some call the Big Bang. There was an actual point of beginning, now scientists will admit, to the universe. Most of them will. It's the best explanation for human exceptionalism, for our sense of justice that we have. So these are just some of the things that I have found to be compelling and convincing reasons to trust the Bible, to trust God, to put my faith in God. There's many more that I could list. These are just some of the best that as I think through what is convincing to me. And I hope you'll do that too, and to realize that everyone lives their life based on faith. It's taking the facts that we understand to be true and then basing our life on those facts. Some people accept the facts of the Bible and the reality of God and live their life based on those facts. Other people don't. They live their life based on other facts, but everyone lives by faith in one way or another. So I'm convinced to live my life by faith based on the facts that I see to be presented in the Bible and to be presented in the universe, indicating to me, first of all, that there is a God and that he holds us accountable and has a purpose and a plan for our lives.